The Supreme Court wields massive influence in our democracy. It can overturn presidential orders or even strike down laws passed by Congress.
There's a major decision out of the United States Supreme Court.
The court has struck down a Louisiana law.
The U.S. Supreme Court will take up a legal challenge to the
But this power is concentrated in the hands of just a few individuals. So it's no wonder then that the struggle over who gets to sit on the court is so hotly debated. Every seat on the court is critical to shaping its influence. Not to mention, capturing the courts, including the Supreme Court, is now a way to maintain power well beyond a political party's time controlling the White House and Congress. And that problem starts with the composition of the court. There are many things about Supreme Court justices that set them apart from other judges, aside from them sitting on the highest court in the land. But this uniqueness isn't necessarily a good thing. In fact, it's actually contributing to some really intense partisan pressure being placed on the courts, and is damaging its independence and legitimacy. Here's how. First, Supreme Court terms are uncommonly long. Judges serve lifetime terms and only leave the bench due to impeachment, retirement, or death. Even 49 of the state Supreme Courts have limits on how long a judge can serve, and 3 require that judges retire by age 70. Not to mention that apparently no other democratic country has chosen to give life tenure to its high court justices. On the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, for example, justices have to retire by age 75. And in Germany, top judges serve 12-year terms max and must retire by age 68. Lifetime tenure was established by the framers of the Constitution to insulate the Supreme Court justices from politics. But it's becoming more common for justices to serve long terms. Before 1970, justices served an average term of 14 years. But since then, average tenure has nearly doubled. These lifetime terms with no regular, organized expectation to step off the bench makes openings on the court both infrequent and unpredictable. Combined with how few positions there are, this makes every opening to the court matter all the more, and every appointment that much more contentious.
No justice would be better than this injustice.
It's not just their lifetime terms that increase the stakes. Supreme Court justices also have absolute control over the cases they hear. In fact, just because a case reaches the Supreme Court doesn't mean the justices will hear it. At least 4 justices must vote to decide to hear a case, and they only decide to take about 1% of the cases they're asked to hear each year. Their power is further concentrated by the structure of the court itself. Supreme Court justices sit on fixed, non-rotating seats. Let me explain what that looks like. In most democracies, and even in other courts in this country, judges sit in smaller panels. If you take a look at the Delaware Supreme Court, for example, there are 5 justices who, for most cases, sit in panels of 3. These panels are rotating and chosen at random. This prevents individual justices from having outsized power on the court. It also lowers the stakes for each seat whenever there's an opening. But Supreme Court justices don't do this, meaning that all of the power of the court is concentrated in the hands of the same 9 individuals at all times. The incredibly high stakes can affect how the court conducts its business. For example, because their positions are so consequential, it can make justices less likely to recuse themselves if they have a conflict of interest. To top it off, justices don't even have a code of conduct. Supreme Court justices are the only federal judges in the entire country with no formalized ethics rules to govern their behavior, which means that the highest court in the land is also the least accountable for its actions. And that damages the legitimacy of the court. All of this does. It's only because the public has confidence in the courts that their rulings hold any lasting weight. But as it stands, the composition of the court is straining that dynamic. There are many factors that make the stakes for confirming a justice so high, but we can't deny that the hyper-partisan pressure is partly due to justices holding so much power for so long and little to no accountability once they arrive on the court. And we have to ask ourselves, is that what we want from our court system? Thanks so much for watching the first episode in our new series on reforming the courts. We'll be posting 2 more episodes in this series, so make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we post a new video. Thanks again for watching, and we can't wait to see you for episode 2.